this event. Structure. I'm not going to talk about China because we have one of the greatest China experts here in the room, so I defer to Jim on this matter. So let me focus on the eurozone and the leaping euro and Central Europe at the crossroads aspect of our seminar today. Now there is good news and there's bad news. And since over the turn of the year, the crisis has become more complicated. In many directions, it's become there are actually some positive signs. The positive signs are not signs that the crisis is about to end, but they are nevertheless very significant. But they're not easy. They're not really easy to understand or easy to make any easy conclusions from that. So I'm trying to figure out the various parts of this thing. So what do I'm going into the next. Let's start with the good news on the eurozone. What has changed in a very important development was the 3-year liquidity operation by the European Central Bank. So we were at the time in November, December when the euro crisis became more serious because an additional banking crisis, liquidity crisis, came to bear. There was sovereign debt problems, but also banking problems, and all these various problems came together. The most important policy decision taken last year was not the European Summit's decision to set up a fiscal treaty, but it was the ECB's liquidity operations. These are 2-3-year long-term finance operations, which the first of which injected almost 500 billion euros into the banking system, of which most actually went into the real economy. It was actually a fairly effective way. It reduced bond yields at the short end. It even reduced bond yields at the long and a little bit. The central bank never expected that to happen. So the impact on markets has been fairly profound, and it has led to a fairly significant rally in yields. The spreads are now about a percentage point at the long end below what they were. There is now a significant chance that the eurozone might come through this credit crunch, potential credit crunch in the spring. That we're not going to see, Italian government, the Spanish government not being able to raise funds. There's a lot of fundraising going on in the first quarter of this year. Both countries have to roll over a lot of debt. There's a huge bulge of debt that comes due. I'm relatively optimistic that they can do this. So I don't see some imminent, and I think this is the main consequence of this operation. I don't see any imminent catastrophe. We're going to get through this year without a euro breakup or some cataclysmic thing. As far as we can tell today, obviously there are always events that can happen. That can happen later. The other point is that there are some signs of sort of cyclical stabilization. Jim was talking about the United States, signs of bottoming of the downturn. We're seeing signs that Germany is recovering. Hard to understand. I have to say that I'm always amazed by the German economic development. It's a very cyclical, very volatile economy that tends to be highly volatile in both directions. But there is now the latest indicators show a fairly consistent trend of an upturn, both in the labor market. The labor market dynamics continues to improve. The various indicators like the IFO index have improved. There's a general sense of optimism among businessmen in the economy, among commentators. So while that is not reflected elsewhere in the eurozone, and it's very clear this is not a eurozone development at all. It is a German development. Is it good news? Is it bad news? Obviously, Germany is more in a position to, a healthy Germany is more in a position to help. But anyway, but also healthy Germany is less in a position to understand. This is one of the problems of the political discourse, is that, you know, the suffering has never been there. I mean, this is a, you know, you go to Germany, it's a, you know, they're having, you know, the lowest unemployment rates in, you know, my lifetime, so my adult lifetime, and since the, you know, since the 1980s, Germany was plagued by mass unemployment. That's essentially gone. You know, pretty much anyone who wants a job can have a job in Germany. The incomes are not, you know, this has obviously happened at a decline of real incomes. That was certainly part of the game. But, you know, life is relatively content. And from a political point of view, it's very hard to understand why other countries, you know, are in such difficulty. And the narrative that everybody seems to have, and that the media portrays, that, you know, we worked hard, we saved, you know, we were good in the last decade, and everybody else was having a party and speculating in the housing market. So these are the two sides of this debate, and there is another aspect of this debate that's quite important, sort of linking into what Jim was saying about the structure of German export, which is increasingly going outside of Europe. There is a debate in Germany whether Germany should become, you know, whether Germany should not follow the model of being the leader in Europe, of rescuing the eurozone, but whether Germany should join the BRICS, should become a BRIC. I suspect you have to invent a new acronym to accommodate that. It won't be easy. But that is a debate. There's a significant part of the German policy establishment that looks east. Rather than Berlin for dinner, a group of journalist colleagues. And, you know, who told me that, you know, nobody in Berlin was interested in New York and London anymore. For them, the three coolest cities in the world were Berlin, Warsaw, slightly less so, and Moscow. So it's a very much an eastward orientation of the young upcoming establishment. It's very different from my generation. You know, I was not from Berlin, from the west of Germany, with a very strong focus on Europe, from close to the Netherlands, close to Belgium, very, you know, very close to the United Kingdom. That's totally different now culturally. So the debate in Germany, the political debate, Angela very narrow majority, that's very much in that context. That, you know, is a country that considers whether it should reposition itself geopolitically. Further good news, I expect. Jim was saying Greece doesn't really matter in the last scheme of things. That's true in a static way. Obviously, Greece can still cause a lot of problems if things go wrong. But I suspect that we'll go through this. There's a lot of nervousness about this, these private sector talks. I think we're gonna get it deal. Even if we don't get it deal, the Greek Parliament will ultimately introduce the, you know, collective action clauses. You know, this thing will happen. One way or the other. There are some technical difficulties, questions whether the ECB should take part in this thing or not. So I would think we're not going to have that implosion that Greece could produce relatively shortly. I also expect that we're going to get some agreement on the question of increasing the ESM. Germany, you know, is ready to merge EFSF and the ESM, or let them exist side by side. I don't think this will solve the problem of the size of the rescue fund, but I would assume that Merkel will eventually agree on increasing the size of the ESM. It's just that this thing came too fast, so she has not prepared her parties and her coalition partner for this, so she's putting on the brakes. But I'm hearing that she is not fundamentally opposed to that. She just doesn't want to deal with that issue. It's very typical of the way she's been handling these things. She's very flexible. She's a lot more flexible on the outside than she's in fact letting it appear political constructions. I expect Portugal to be sensible. Doesn't mean I expect Portugal to be out of the woods, but I have tremendous respect for its government and its finance minister, who are doing a very sensible job. So that is good, and as I said before, I don't expect some liquidity crisis to become, I suspect we'll go down with this in that same fashion. So there's some good news in the system, and it's important to understand that. There is bad news, or potentially bad news, and I think that's what we have to consider as well. We have no strategic approach to this. But Greece, is a small country. The lack of a strategic approach means that it could still get out of hand. Now there will be a private sector participation, voluntary or involuntary, it really doesn't matter. It's more of a technical question. It will mean that the Greek deficit projected GDP ratio will fall to 120% by the end of this decade. I don't think that's enough. I think that a country as weak as Greece can prosper or can have a sustainable path of 120%. The reason I chose 120% has to do with Italy, because Italy is the next country with a high deficit ratio. So they didn't want to go below Italy because that would have some, that complicated politics of that. But Italy, it's already too high for Italy, and Italy is a different league, politically and economically than Greece. Greece really needs to come down to 6% for investors to have confidence that this country is not back to a sustainable path. So after this voluntary or involuntary debt write-down, we're going to have this debate again. We're going to have another debate about the public sector involvement in this. And the policies that Greece is pursuing at the moment is very pro-cyclical. The country is in a recession. GDP fell by 6% last year. Same thing will happen this year. The Troika is not imposing more cuts and cuts. So this is basically, there is no end in sight. So there is a chance that this would go wrong, and a chance that this would spill over. Even though Portugal is pursuing sensible policies, given where they started, an accident in Greece, which is still very, very probable, not now, but probable I suspect to happen in the autumn of this year. So this is a potential. Now, this is what I'm really worried about. This is pro-cyclicality in Spain. Everyone has been focusing on Greece and Italy is a problem, I don't want to underestimate it, but I'm more concerned about Spain because some dynamics is at play there. That is quite vicious. What's happening in Spain is that the country has a... we saw these pictures about America, America having the housing prices having come pretty much down from where they were. Price-to-income ratios have normalized. So the Americans have adjusted. There was an interesting study about the McKinsey Research Institute, the Global Institute, about leveraging. And it was interesting that the Americans have deleveraged to a greater extent than the Europeans, even though we spend, we talk about fiscal austerity pretty much every day. And the Americans haven't. They actually have leverage. And one of the reasons is that the slightly increased fiscal deficit, or significantly increased fiscal deficit in the United States, has helped the private sector deleverage. While we have been breaking on the fiscal side and have essentially not been able to do so. If you look at the McKinsey figures, Spanish private sector has leveraged last decade, like math, still, and it hasn't come down. The private sector leverage is still incredibly high, and that will have to come down over the next 10 years. This is an unsustainably high level, much higher than anything we see in the United States or in the United Kingdom. As this is now going to happen, the Spanish public sector is also deleveraged. Now that's quite a pro-cyclical thing. We're looking at a situation where Spain is now in a recession. IMF projects some 2.5% drop in GDP this year, a bit more next year. And the European Commission is asking Spain to meet certain deficit targets, 4.5% this year, 3% for next year. And the IMF says this is no way. They're going to come out at 6-7% this year. And it would be unreasonable to do more because if the Spanish did what Greece did, like trying to chase the beach, this judgment of the economic downturn, trying to chase the deficit target, Spain would now have to find another 3%, and so instead of having a 2% recession, they would end up with a 4 to 5%. So there's a danger that Spain could fall into a similar trap. And I saw some calculations by Richard Gould from the Memorials Research Institute, was basically trying to compare the situation of Japan in the 1990s to that of Spain. And his conclusion is that if Japan pursued policies that Spain is pursuing at the moment, Japanese GDP would have fallen relative to what it is today. It would be 60 to 70% lower. Now that's not to a level of 60 to 70%. It would be by 60 to 70%. It would be a meltdown. Japan would be 2/3 of Japan wouldn't exist. And he said it was absolutely necessary for Japan to have actually supported the slowdown, the leveraging of the the private sector by maintaining a public sector deficit. While we in Europe will try to deleverage both in the private sector and in the public sector. And that there is a dynamic that no forecasting model can catch, and our official institutions like the European Commission, they tend to overestimate growth in such a just period. So this underestimation of growth could lead to solvency problems in Italy and Spain. I'm not so much concerned about immediate liquidity problems, because we have stopgaps, we have ECB, this is a very significant policy. But I worry about solvency. I worry about, is Italy, Spain in a position to meet that debt? Spain doesn't have that high level of debt to GDP at the moment, but obviously if growth continues to fall, you go through this for 5 years, then you can easily find that Spain in a very similar position. The same goes for Italy in slightly milder forms. Italy doesn't have quite the same amount of deleveraging to do, but Italy is also following the pro-cyclical economic policy. We've seen falling economic growth rates, we're seeing austerity, so we've seen 2 years of recession in Italy as well, and the determination to meet the EU-imposed deficit targets, which is likely to lengthen the downturn, and that in turn raises issues about solvency. Now this is from Krug here, an interesting chart, the only chart I'm going to show you here today, where it looks at the adjustment in Spain, and if you look at the blue line with the arrow, that's the corporate sector. Now the corporate sector has deleveraged, basically. This is the bottom. Now we mind these are the relative changes in its debt level. So it's gone from minus, which means piling on debt, to a positive level, and the relative change is at 17%, significantly higher than anything we've seen in America or UK. And likewise, this green line that you see where this went down is the public sector. Spain has compensated through a public sector deficit. That's the reason why Spain had so far a fairly mild economic impact. Now, if that green line goes up, there are two things that can happen. Either this will be met by the foreign sector, i.e. by a much reduced current account, which would then very likely to address this. So unless this is taken up by policy changes in Germany running a current account deficit, allowing making it easier for Spain to adjust, that would help Spain avoid the worst. But since that isn't happening, since Germany is pretty much pursuing the same policies as it has done before, there is a very danger that this adjustment, that if the green line goes up, that the only way for all these various sectors to balance, because they will have to add up to zero, logically, would be a much more output. The other thing which is concerning, not as bad, I mean, what I just said is really the thing that worries me the most, is policy procyclicality. There's also a problem of, irrelevance. This is the fiscal fact. When I speak to people in Brussels, I've spoken to a policymaker the other day and said, okay, I agree with you, fiscal pact is relevant, but it's good for the ECB, because if it helps the ECB to give money, it'll be good for them. Then I talked to someone at the ECB, they said it's irrelevant, but it's good for the market. If the markets believe it, it's good for them. Now, if I talk to people in the market, they also tell me it's irrelevant. So I wonder, in the end, there isn't anyone really who basically says it's a good thing on its own sake. This is basically, in policy terms, everything that's likely to be in the pact is already there. It's already in those various stability pacts, six packs, all these things. The thing that isn't there can be done through secondary legislation, which is ordinary legislation, for which you don't need to change the treaty. There's very little in this, for which you really need to change the treaty. And obviously these national debt breaks, which will now not be anchored in constitutional law, could have been agreed by finance ministers in an active meeting. This is not something for which you needed to go through this level of fuss, and for which you really needed to pick this ride with David Cameron. I always thought this was so unnecessary. This whole thing. I mean, if this had been the creation of a genuine fiscal union, the eurozone, this whole we're going to change to a political union, I could have understood that Britain might have had a problem with that. But this thing, is completely irrelevant. It was wrong for Cameron to pick a fight on this. It was also wrong for the others to put him into a position to pick a fight on it. I think this system was superfluous. The superfluous part in the EU policy rather than but it's also part of the fact that this is becoming so complex. This is sort of this rise of the complexity of the situation. The truly negative aspect about the fiscal pact, even though it doesn't contain anything that couldn't be done by legislation, it might still act procyclically. Mariano Rajoy's Spanish Prime Minister's promise to follow all the fiscal targets that the EU has agreed for him is, he might not have done that if we didn't have this debate on the fiscal pact. So this is sort of, it does change the debate. It makes the European fiscal space much tighter than it would otherwise be. We make it much less flexible, and therefore it will enhance the procyclicality that I just talked about. And the other thing is that it won't have any, the eurozone is very much focused on itself. It doesn't focus on the global world. It wants to adjust. I recently saw an article by a European academic saying our only solution is a fall in the euro and a nice counter deficit. This is a small country thing the way we've always done this. We're not behaving like this is the world's second, at this moment, the world's second largest economy. They're certainly not behaving like that. And vice versa. If the eurozone is obviously falling into some down the hole, that would be a drag on global growth. Even though Europe doesn't matter as much as it did 10 years ago, and certainly not, it will matter even less than 10 years, it's still capable of producing a negative impact on the global world. What about Eastern Europe? Central Europe? Obviously, the extreme scenarios would have very negative implications. I don't believe in a breakdown of the eurozone. I think there's a possibility that one or two countries might leave it. I don't think that there is a great chance of the euro disappearing. That I think is highly unlikely in my judgment of political processes, even if the thing were to cost a lot, which I think it will. Germany will ultimately have an interest in maintaining. The full breakdown would be sustained by Central Europe as well, given your industrial, financial interdependence with the West. Show doubts about the EU, which everybody is benefiting from. So a full blow-up is probably the last thing that anybody would want in the West or in the East. I think we're all pretty much in the same boat. The scenario, as I said, is very unlikely. A partial implosion is possible. As I just said, Greece might go. There's a possibility. I can't really predict this. Portugal, Spain. If my scenario for Spain is true that they enter into some pro-cyclical madness, then it could create a situation where it wouldn't be sustainable for Spain. The real problem that Eastern Europe faces, Southern Eastern Europe faces, and UK as well, is this: if the eurozone were to survive, it will need to strengthen its governance regimes. And this is not just fiscal. it will, parts of the problems that we're seeing in the eurozone are imbalances, and to fix some of those imbalances, you really need to have joint microeconomic policies. So they'll have to talk about labor markets, they'll have to talk about product market integration, they'll have to talk about financial market integration. They will probably need the joint financial regulation. They will probably need a joint financial backstop, not just a supervisor, but a joint, turn finance into a eurozone or EU activity rather than a national activity. That would certainly go a long way to solve the problem, because it would reduce the risk of individual member states. That would put the eurozone in coalition with the EU, not just with individual member states, but it would raise the question about what about the single market? Now, the single market is still, is still the overarching program of market liberalization in the EU. But what happens if the EU needs to, if the eurozone needs to, get its act together? It will actually have to create its own far more ambitious single market than the actual EU program. And is there not going to be a conflict of interest between outsiders and the insiders? And that's, and the single market is not a perfect program. It has been a very limiting program of market integration. It doesn't do anything to labor markets. It has done very little to services. All that the eurozone has to do. And I could well imagine there to be a conflict between eurozone and non-eurozone. And we already saw some of those conflicts arising in the discussion about the financial transaction tax, which the eurozone countries want to do among themselves, and then and conflicts between the eurozone and the UK on finance. And I expect to see more of that. And the question will become whether staying outside will be as viable in the future, an option in the future as it is in the past. In the past, the eurozone wasn't, it didn't manage itself. It was just an autopilot process, and it was easy to say the single market is EU, monetary policy is eurozone. That's it. But now, EU leaders are meeting every month, having summits every month. They're talking about market integration every month. Expect differences to emerge in interest and direction, and I would expect the perception of the policy options in your country and other countries to change within the next 5 years. I think fewer people in 5 years will be able to say, or will say, being in the EU and not being in the eurozone forever is a viable option. It will be considered less of a viable option in the future. I'm not saying that there is a need to join the euro at any sort of moment in time. The Czech Republic was wise, certainly not to have joined it before. But I suspect I would be very surprised if in 10 years' time you would be in the same position. And I would like to end my presentation here. Thank you very much.